Hi, today we're going to talk about what exactly is in a USANA Health Sciences Reset Kit, and also why should you use it. Now the why is very, very simple. It's because it works. When you decide that you want to lose weight, it really is about you deciding that the way you've been eating does not serve you, and you need to find another way of eating. So though you may do something called a diet, very briefly, really what you're looking for is a whole new way of eating. Now, back in 1981, some professors at the University of Toronto invented the idea of a new ruler to apply to carbohydrates, and it's called Glycemic Index. There's also something called glycemic load. Basically, what it lets us know at a glance which carbohydrates are lower glycemic, so they're not going to spike our blood sugar and make insulin have to rush in and save the day, and which carbohydrates should we avoid because they are very high glycemic and they're dangerous, literally, especially because so many Americans consume them at almost every meal. So when you're trying to tackle this new way of eating, where you want to eat low glycemic and you want to eat in a healthy way, you could try to go through a cookbook, a healthy cookbook, and pick out what you're going to eat at each meal. But what you're fighting against is the fact that your stomach is larger than it should be. Your portion size, even visually, is impaired. You're not used to what a smaller portion size should be. And it's hard for your taste buds to accept something that's not sweet or starchy. So what if you had 5 days where you eat what is in a box, so that when that little bit of temptation comes, you know, if it's not in this box, I'm not going to eat it. And I can do that. I can handle it for 5 days. Then you've got a great start, because then we can get your stomach shrunk a little bit, we can get your taste buds recalibrated, and we can get you feeling like you've lost some weight, you know that this will work. So let's look at what's in this reset kit. When you open it up, and when I do reset, which is usually about twice a year, I just keep it right on my counter, you're going to find an instruction sheet. The instruction sheet includes a chart that you can fill out that lets you remember whether or not you had each of the shakes that you need to have, and your snack bars, and also your nutritionals within each day. You're going to check that off. It's also going to give you a little bit of an overview of recommended fruits and vegetables, because this is a new concept for you, and you need to maybe have a cheat sheet initially to just remind yourself what you can eat. Then it's going to go into what is a transform phase, because after the first 5 days, we want to give you a way of easing back into real life. And then there's a maintain phase after you've lost the weight that you want to lose. So you're going to sort of track it with this. Now what this does also allow you to do, or offer you to do, and I don't always need to do this, but it says that you could have a serving of fruit and a serving of vegetables each day of the 5 days. What I found just for myself is that a serving of vegetables each day is wonderful. If I do a serving of fruit, my body, especially if it's right after Christmas and I've been having fudge and I've been having some desserts, my body sometimes sees that fruit as a little bit too much of a sugar. So my personal recommendation for my reset clients is have a serving of veggies on your first and second and third days. Have a serving of veggies and a serving of maybe an apple or a pear, a very light fruit, on your last 2 days. And that way you're easing back into the fruits. For me, in general, my body still thinks of fruits as sugar water. So the veggies, my body's very pleased with. And I've found with most of my clients that is true with them as well. So here's what you do. Your first meal on reset is either going to be a dinner, like I like to start on a Sunday at supper, or it's going to be a breakfast, for instance, on a Monday morning. You're going to take out one of these packets. You're going to get either a shaker bottle, or you're going to get a little blender cup and put about 10 ounces of fluid in it. On reset, you want to have that water, distilled water, pure distilled filtered water. If you want a little bit of flavor added to your shake, or you find that you just want a little bit more, some of that 10 ounces could be unsweetened almond milk. but I would not add anything else within the first 5 days. Then you're going to add ice, and then you're going to tear open one of these packets and pour it in, which is the equivalent of about 3 scoops of, these are called Nutri-Meals, and after you're done with your 5 days, the further Nutri-Meals that you purchase will be in larger bags. So you will go to doing 3 scoops. But the 3 scoops are in here for now. And again, this is so easy. So especially if you're starting this out and you're feeling a little bit of brain fog, you don't have to measure anything except your 10 ounces of fluid and count out your 6 ice cubes, and then you're fine. Now you can increase or decrease the fluid as you prefer, and increase or decrease the ice cubes as you prefer as well. When I do a blender, rather than dirtying up a large blender, I use a hand wand blender, and there's several on the market right now. But what I like about it is that this comes off, and this are the only 2 things I wash at the end of my meal. So again, we want to keep it simple for you. So you have either had your dinner shake made, or your breakfast shake, depending on what your very first meal is on reset, and then you tear off one of these packets, and these are USANA Health Sciences supplements. They are the complete recipe for cellular health, but they also really help in terms of the process that you're going to start to go through, which is some detoxing and some cell repair. So you want these in your portfolio. And again, all you have to do is reach in here. Then, your next meal, if your first meal was breakfast, your next meal is lunch. Between breakfast and lunch, you can have a snack. And these are like mini meal replacements. They are, as the Nutri-Meals are, they're balanced with the healthy carbs, the healthy fats, and the healthy proteins. And it's nice protein blends. All of these are gluten-free as well. Because in this 5 days, what we're trying to do is get you away from animal protein, which is harder to digest. We're getting you away from the refined sugars and those refined carbs, obviously to lower your carb addiction. But we're also keeping you away from dairy and some other possible food sensitivities that you may not know that you have. If you go back on dairy after you've been on the 5 days and you feel a little bit of digestive distress, then you know that dairy doesn't serve you either. So these are gluten-free, and they are basically dairy-free. There is a little bit of whey protein in these, but it's for someone who is lactose intolerant, that's totally fine. So you're going to pull out a shake for each meal for 5 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can supplement with a vegetable side dish of a reasonable size. Between the meals, you're going to have one of these bars. At breakfast and dinner, you're going to have one of these tear-off packets. This is 2 packets, so you're going to tear off and have one of them. Between meals, you're going to be drinking water, and you want to try to go with 64 to 80 ounces of water. Now, I keep on my counter a pitcher of 64 ounces of water, and every day I finish that pitcher plus some on some days. So if you do something like that, that'll make it very easy to know that you've done your 64 ounces of water. I recommend not drinking a lot of water during the meal, and this is from now on, because it dilutes your digestive enzymes, your natural digestive enzymes. So you want to consume your water between meals, like about half hour, 45 minutes before and after a meal. You can have coffee, but what we recommend on Reset is that it's 1 cup of black coffee, obviously with no sweeteners, not even an artificial sweetener. And because we're trying to keep you away from dairy for the first 5 days, no half and half, I'm sorry. But after the first 5 days, you're going to find that you have tackled a huge, huge milestone in your road back to health. And that is, you reset your palate. Things that you normally thought were kind of sweet are now tasting too sweet. And you have a craving for broccoli. You have a craving for veggies. What I recommend when you get off of Reset, and the typical weight loss is about 4.5 pounds in 5 days. I've had people do much more, and I typically do less because I'm not losing a lot of weight. I'm usually trying to just reset an addiction. So what you're going to go to is the transform phase afterwards. It is outlined in here, and basically what the transform phase is, you will purchase more shakes and more bars, and for your days, you're going to do maybe a shake for breakfast, a bar between breakfast and lunch, and a shake for lunch, and then you're going to have a healthy snack like carrots with some soy nut butter on them, or an apple dipped in a little bit of natural peanut butter. And then you're going to choose and plan your dinner. We call this a transform phase, and we encourage the use of 2 shakes a day in your transform phase because it allows you to only have to rehearse and plan 1 meal a day as you start to move to this complete lifestyle change of stepping away from all those high glycemic foods. Now, we also know that there are 2 things, actually 3 things, that lower a glycemic index and a glycemic load of a meal. One is fiber, and one is protein, and one is fat. So this has a wonderful high fiber content to it, and we encourage you to keep your fiber content high for the rest of your life. The proteins are lean and healthy, and they are plant and nut based in here with a little bit of whey. But we definitely say afterwards, when you're doing your 1 meal a day in transform, and then in maintain phase, every single breakfast for me is a Nutrimeal. And it just is. We haven't had, in my pantry, we haven't had a breakfast cereal for probably 8 years because it's high glycemic. So I start my day with a Nutrimeal because I want to start out with a nice even keel. But you're going to find that you're easing into planning those eventual meals, and to have that easing into this new permanent phase of your life allows you to have a higher chance for success. And that's really what this is all about. We want you to succeed. So if someone has brought you to my video, go back to them and say, I'm ready for the reset kit. Kathleen showed me what's in it. It's just an instruction sheet, my Nutrimeals, my snack bars, I know they're gluten-free, and my vitamins. Ask for help in getting that first order in and get this tackled right away. If you found this video yourself directly, you can contact me through YouTube, or you can contact me by my email, which is Kathleen@USANA.com, and that's KATHLEEN @USANA.com. And I'm going to leave you with just a little bit of what is on this box. You've got this. You're strong, you're determined, you were born to lead a happy, healthy life. And you've already taken the first steps to get on the track. We know it's not easy. The best things never are. But you set your goals, and you know we've got your back every step of the way. Congratulations on restarting your life and joining Reset Nation. Take care.